Sukkot, right.
Sukkot.
I really wanted to bring a lulav and an etrog, but I wasn't able to borrow one because they're using them all at Wexner right now. I thought about like just taking one and stealing it, but I thought that wouldn't be a very good thing for me to do. I would bring it back. But I thought, oh, I might get myself in trouble with that. And then next week, what's next week? Simchat Torah, right? So I thought tonight we would have a little taste of Shabbat, a little taste of Sukkot, and a little taste of Simchat Torah. Would that be okay? Hopefully it'll be meaningful for you. So what's the greeting that we say for this time of the year? To each other, we say Shana Tova. What does that mean? Shana Tova. It means Happy New Year. Happy New Year. And until this year, I always thought that was just a greeting. This year it hit me, because this year it's been a very difficult year, hasn't it? I mean, so many reasons it's been a difficult year. This year I realized it's not just a greeting, but it can also be interpreted as a prayer. Like, what can I do to make it a Shana Tova? So it's not just Shana Tova, but I'm like promising you, or I'm blessing you. Let's work together and make this a beautiful. And then I have a friend in Israel that said what they're saying to each other is they're still saying Shana Yoter Tov. May it be a better year. Better year. Not Shana Tov, but Tova, but Shana Yoter Tova. May it be a better year. I like that a lot too. So we're going to start with this beautiful song written by the music by Rabbi Menachem Creditor. And the words are actually from the book of Psalms. And it's Olam Chesed Yibaneh at the top. Olam is the world, and Chesed, Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Perfect. And it literally means that we will build this world from Chesed, or from love. It's very simple. We'll just do it a couple times. Diane will lead us, I hope.
Yeah.
Die, 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 yada die, 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 die. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yada die, 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 die. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yada die, 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 die. I will build this world from love, yada die, 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 die.
And
You must build this world from love. Yada die, 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 die. And if we build this world from love, yada die, 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 die. Then God will build this world from love. Yada die, 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 yada die, die. So this seems like such a simple little song, but in reality, hi. Welcome. Wherever you come, would this be okay? Come over here. Yeah. Welcome. So good to see you. I haven't seen you for a while.
We have complications.
I'm glad to see you.
Thank you.
Have a seat. We're just talking about, just saying this song. I'll get you another copy. Hey, good to see you.
There we go. Yeah, sorry.
So on one hand, this seems like a very simple song, but it's actually very deeply, profoundly Jewish, because it says that we have to do our part, right? We just can't pray for God to make the world a better place. we have to do our part. If we build the world from love, then God will do God's part. And we're in this partnership, right, to tikkun olam, to repair and to build a new world. It's very, very beautiful. I think way to start. So the next thing I want to talk about a little bit is it's a picture I printed off. In Hebrew it says arba'at minim. Arba'at minim, the 4 species. So who can tell me, do you guys have one? Ah. There we go. Oh, sorry. So who can tell me what a sukkah is? A sukkah, tabernacle, or a booth. A booth.
Yeah. It's made from branches, and it's outside the temple or wherever you put it.
Is it a firmly built structure that's built to last? No, it's built to be permanent or impermanent, right? To remind us, right, of this change of the seasons. What's the history behind the sukkah? When did our ancestors live in Sukkot? When did we live in sukkahs? When we were in the desert, right? Wandering around the desert. And a sukkah, there's some rules for a sukkah. It has to have 3 walls.
Right.
Has to have an opening. And what about the roof?
You have to see the sky.
You have to be able to see the stars out the roof, right? And we're commanded to sit in the sukkah for how many days? To dwell or live in the sukkah for how many days? 8 days. 8 days, and we're in the middle of that right now, right? And then what's the really kind of mystical thing that we do in the sukkah? We do eat. That's also mystical. Yeah, of course we have to eat. We have to eat, of course. But there's the lulav and the etrog. Does everybody have a picture of that? You should have a picture of the 4 species. Oh, right, here we go, right? Yeah, right there, right there. So there's 4 species. And I wanted to bring one with me today, but unfortunately right now at Wexner, they're all in the sukkah and they're using them all. And so I don't have one to actually bring. But the lulav and the etrog, let's start with the etrog. Which of those 4 species, those 4 things, it's the etrog? It looks like a...
The branch, isn't it?
No? Etrog looks like a lemon.
Oh, the
It looks
lemon,
like
yeah.
the lemon,
Okay.
and it symbolizes the heart, right? And then we have the willow, and we have the myrtle, and then, so that represents the eyes and the mouth, right? And then we have the spine, the actual lulav. So if we were all together and I had an example of one, I would put the etrog in my one hand, and I put the lulav with the myrtle coming out of it and the willow coming out of it in the other, and I grasp them together, and then I do a blessing. Do you guys have the blessing, the Sukkot blessing? Sukkot blessings? Let's see, it's a, yes, okay. The first one is to dwell in the sukkah, and the second one is for shaking the sukkah. You can imagine how much fun this is with kids, right? So if I have them, right, I would have them here. I do the blessing. Where do we shake it? In front of us, behind us, over us, under us, to the right and to the left. To remind us that all around us is the divine presence. And that's what we do on Sukkot. And then we sit and we have a wonderful meal. I think someone said food. And sit outside, maybe some wine. And there's all kinds of fun things. Sometimes there's we call it pizza in the hut, because we eat pizza in the sukkah. There might be sushi in the sukkah. Has anyone heard of other fun things you can do in the sukkah?
There's a kind of wine that starts with an S.
Uh-huh.
But I
In the
can't
sukkah.
pronounce it.
Chardonnay. Is it Chardonnay? Chardonnay.
Shorter word.
Okay. Okay. Yes, of course. Yeah.
A friend of mine built a sukkah in her backyard, and I played canasta on Wednesday, so the 4 of us had lunch in the sukkah
How
before
beautiful.
we played canasta, and she served us lunch.
Just beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was a beautiful, beautiful day. Little children, great.
It's one of the happier Jewish customs, right? It's actually called the holiday of happiness, right? It is called the holiday of happiness. And the other mystical notion that people often do is we invite ushpazin. That's Aramaic for guests. We invite guests into the sukkah. Have you heard of that custom before? It can be friends. It can be guests of historical importance to us. It could be biblical figures. It could be family members. And there's this beautiful, beautiful, mystical Jewish notion that when you yoshev, when you dwell in your sukkah, and you have food, that every ancestor that you have in the history of your genetic chain going backwards is there with you. And here's the really even cooler part, is all of your future descendants are there with you as well. Only twice this happens. Once in the sukkah, and where's the other time? Anybody know? Also has a little bit of a sukkah in the chuppah when you get married. It's really beautiful. So you might think today, who would you like to invite into our makeshift sukkah? If we had a sukkah here, and we were going to do the waving of the etrog and the lulav, who would you want to invite? And think about that. I have a poem. Everybody have a copy of the poem for Sukkot and Simchat Torah, in the embrace of joy. Do you see that? Yep, there we go. It says a poem for Sukkot, Simchat Torah. Do you have the poem? Yep. Could you share? Do you have a copy? Let me see if it's over here. Did you share? Okay, because I'll need one to also. Do you have a copy? Good, good. Okay, everybody has one? Do you have one? Okay. So we gather beneath the shelter of branches. The walls of our sukkah are open to the sky. Here we welcome both earth and heaven. In this fragile space, we find strength. In the sukkah, we find shelter from the storm. We are cradled by tradition, by memory, by hope. Though the winds may blow, we are safe. Together we dwell in joy.
The Torah of our tree of life is lifted high. We dance with its wisdom, with its truth. From Bereshit to Vizot HaBarakah, we journey, and the journey begins anew.
In the Torah, we find light for our path. Its teachings guide us through each season. From our harvest of joy in Sukkot to the dancing feet of Simchat Torah, we embrace the circle of time. We rejoice in the cycle that never ends, in the turning of the scroll and of the seasons. We rejoice in the harvest, the fruits of the land, in the sweetness of Torah ever renewing. And turn to the back.
Brad.
With gratitude, we give thanks for the bounty, for the blessings of earth and of spirit. We stand as one beneath the stars, surrounded by love, by joy, by Torah.
May our sukkah be filled with laughter and song. May our Torah be our companion in all we do. We raise our voices in thanks and joy for the blessings of Sukkot, for the gift of Torah.
Together we dance, together we sing. In the embrace of joy we are one. From the sukkah to the scroll, from season to season, may we always find shelter and light. So at the end of Sukkah, what holiday do we have? Simchat Torah. Simchat means the joy of Torah, and we reenact the giving of the Torah. What do we normally do at the synagogue? We get the Torah scroll out, and
You unwrap it as far as you can.
we unwrap the whole scroll, and I brought a small one. We're going to do it later, and we make a circle. And the very last word in the Torah. Anybody know what the last word is? Can you guess?
Amen.
No, that would be okay. That'd be good. That's a good guess. It's Yisrael. It's Israel. Moses is speaking, and he says, "Bnei Yisrael." And what's the first word in the Torah? Reshit, in the beginning. And so, when the last page of the Torah touches the first page of the Torah, the Lamed and the Bet come together, it creates Lev, which means heart. So that's what the Torah is. It's all about heart and love. And every page. We'll experience that later. Okay, so let's go back now to our Shabbat booklet, and we'll start our Shabbat booklet. We're going through going through the Shabbat liturgy. And we will save time for sure to unroll the Torah scroll. How many of you remember doing that when you were younger? Unrolling the Torah scroll. It's it's fun. And we dance with the Torah scroll. We make 7 hakafot around the synagogue 7 times.
Well, other people have done it, but yeah. We unrolled it though.
Yeah. And if you go to like a Hasidic community, they really get going, and they sometimes drink some, and they really get dancing. It can be really, really fun. Let's turn to page 1 and sing Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good and how pleasant it is to sit and dwell together. On page 1 of the Shabbat book.
Hine ma
Tov
tov
u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Yea, how good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to dwell together in unity. And tonight we're sitting in our metaphorical sukkah all together with all the guests that we want to invite. Has anybody thought of a guest you'd like to invite into the sukkah? It could be someone from history. You might want to ask them a question. It could be someone from your family. It could be someone that is in a different state that you wish that were here. Is there anyone you'd like to? Friends.
I'd have my grandchildren.
Oh, how nice.
Me too.
Yeah, we'd have a lot of energy. If we had
Yeah, we
grandchildren.
would. A lot of joy.
I love it when you're in synagogue and there's like little kids, and people. It bothers some people, but I like it when the little kids are a little boisterous. It's like that's our future. It's life. I think it's beautiful. Yeah, how nice. How beautiful. Okay, let's continue on page 4 with the Shabbat, lighting the Shabbat candles. So, we have 2 candles here. So why are there 2 candles? Anybody remember? In the 10 Commandments, it says that we are to shamor v'zachor. So we're supposed to guard or protect the Shabbat and remember it. So 1 candle stands for to remember, and 1 is to protect or to guard it. So would you like the Shabbat candles for me? Just push down one, and then we'll do the prayer. Thank you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. And you see in parentheses it says Yom Tov. So it's Shabbat and it's Yom Tov because it's a holiday. So the candles are doing double duty tonight. The candles are also to remind us in the book of Psalms, it says that your soul, our nefesh, is the Hebrew word, is the Ner Elohim. It's the candle of God. So we're commanded also on Shabbat, there's the mystical belief that each of us gets another soul just for Shabbat. And we're supposed to use that extra soul, extra light, to bring light into the world. So what kind of things can you do to bring light into the world? There's so many different things. Or have you experienced this week someone who has brought light into your world? It could be something very small or something really big.
Phone calls, texts.
Beautiful. Yeah. Just being kind to somebody, smiling at somebody, holding the door for somebody perhaps, letting someone go first.
Lee Jones comes to this room and plays for an hour on the piano, and it's a wonderful.
It's beautiful. It certainly is. Yeah.
I call it elevator etiquette. Be nice on the elevator when we get crowded or we don't have an elevator, and only have one.
Yeah.
Elevator etiquette.
Yeah. Sometimes it's so simple, isn't it? Just such simple things.
Just be nice to people.
Yes, yes.
They're all mad.
Yeah, be kind. I think we get all busy in our heads, and and we stop to breathe and think about the light inside of us and try to let that light out. It's really, really important. Really, really important. So, yeah. Think about that. A lot of wonderful things that happen to each of us. I'm thinking about this incident. It happened a while ago, but our washer and dryer, the dryer was broken, and it had been, I don't know, maybe 40 years since I've been to a laundromat. So I had no idea that laundromats were so sophisticated now. You had to have a credit card and buy tokens, and it was really complicated. And it was obvious, like, who has never been into a laundromat for 40 years? It was me. And there was this woman, she was so sweet, and she had clothes in the dryer, and her clothes were dry, and she wanted me to have the final 2 or 3 minutes on her dryer. So she so quickly got her clothes out of the dryer, and then called me over so I could use the end of her cycle. I mean, it was the sweetest thing in the world, right? I was so like touched by that. How she would be like, notice that, okay, here's this guy doesn't know what he's doing, and and I'm gonna help him. It was just one of those. It was really sweet. Like, it really made my day. Yeah. So let's turn to page 5. There is a psalm that we're supposed to say for each day of the week, and the psalm for Shabbat is Psalm 92. And this is, we know this for sure, for a fact, because it's recorded in our sacred writings, that this is the song that the Levites would sing when they would march up to the top of the temple on Erev Shabbat on Friday nights in order to begin, the Shabbat sacrifices. The tune we don't know, but the words we know. So here we go. Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat. Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat. Tov lehadot la'Adonai. Uzamir lesimcha elyon. Uzamir lesimcha elyon. Lehagid baboker chasdecha. Ve'emunatecha ba'leilot. Alei asur ve'alei nevel. Alei higion mechinot. Mizmor shir leyom HaShabbat. Lehodot la'Adonai. Uzamir leshimcha elyon. Uzamir leshimcha elyon. It's the beautiful song of Shabbat. Read for me on page 5 on the right-hand column in English. It is good to give thanks, sing to the highest. We tell of your love in the morning, your faith in the evening, playing on strings of the harp and the lute. Do you ever wonder, it must have been something to have seen the temple when it stood, and the music. I think it must have been amazing. Let's turn to page 7. Eli, Eli. Does anybody remember what that means? Eli, Eli. It means El is God, Elohim, and Eli is my God. Can you think of any names that have the word El in them? My name is Daniel, E-L at the end. I think any other names that have E-L in them? Gabriel, Samuel, Michael. Anytime you have a name with an E-L, it's probably a Hebrew name. Like Samuel means he hears God. Like Shema, Shmuel. Daniel, God is my judge. It's all around us if we look. This is a beautiful, beautiful piyut or poem that we also sing on Yom Kippur. And it's my God, it's to remind us that no matter what's going on around the world, we know that there's a cycle and it returns. And and that out of darkness will come light, and light will turn into darkness, and it continues again and again and again, because God has put these things in place for all eternity. My God, my God. Let's sing this together, first in Hebrew, then in English. Eli, Eli, shelo yigamer leolam, ha'ol ve'hayam, rishru shel ha'mayim, berak ha'shamayim, tfilat ha'adam, ha'chol ve'hayam, rishru shel ha'mayim, berak ha'shamayim, tfilat ha'adam. O Lord, my God, I pray that these things never end. The sand and the sea, the rush of the water, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart, the sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart. Have you ever feel or experienced like the divine power, God in nature? Just a couple nights ago on the full moon, last night or 2 nights ago was the full moon.
Oh, yeah.
It was so beautiful, and I was just taken just how beautiful the universe is and the way the light was coming down. Well, we'll continue on page 8 with our call to worship. If you're able, please stand physically. If not, just stand with your heart, with your soul. We're going to face east, and I always think there's the Temple Mound. Right there it is in front of us. The call to worship on page 8. Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach, Baruch Elam Rach Elam Va'ed. Praise be the Lord, source of all blessing, now and forever. Read for me on page 8 in the middle of English. Praise are you, Lord our God, ruler of the universe,
by whose word the day becomes night.
With wisdom you open the gates of heaven. With understanding you regulate times and seasons. The stars keep their watch according to your will. You create day and night, alternating light and darkness, removing day and bringing on the night, separating each from the other. You are called Lord of the heavenly hosts, ever-living God, rule over us forever. Praise are you, Lord, who brings on evening twilight. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. Amen. Please be seated. So the central prayer of Judaism is the Shema. What does Shema mean? Remember Shema?
Here.
To hear or to listen. Yes. So it's the central prayer of Judaism. We say it in a contemplative way. If you're comfortable, you can close your eyes or lower your gaze. Sometimes people will make the letter Shin, which stands for one of God's names, Shaddai, and they'll put it over their eyes and their forehead, their consciousness, as we together affirm our belief that there is one God and that all is in that oneness. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch 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 Adon ve'ahavta. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, and with all your soul. Read with me on page 10, the beginning. Love the Lord your God. Love the Lord your God with all your mind, with all your strength, and with all your being. These words which I command you this day shall be in your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, repeating them at home and away from home, when you lie down and when you rise up. You bind them as a sign upon your hand, and make them a symbol for between your eyes. Write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Remember, do all my commandments and be holy to your God. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord your God. What does that mean to write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates? Do we do that? What's it called? A mezuzah, right? The beautiful little pieces of artwork that are often outside doors, and then wrapped inside of that are what two prayers? The Shema and the Ve'ahavta. They're on teeny little pieces of parchment that are wrapped inside of them. Beautiful. Okay, so on page 11, on our journey, right? We started with creation. Now we've had Mount Sinai, where God has given us the Torah. But before that, we have to get across the Red Sea, right? So when Moses crossed the Red Sea, what does the Torah tell us? The Torah tells us that his sister, what was his sister's name? Miriam and the women. Miriam and the women, they picked up their timbrels. I guess that's like I'm not sure what a timbrel is, but I vision it, one of those things like this. And they sang. And I guess the men, it doesn't say anything about the men. I guess they were quiet. But so this is a song that was actually first spoken by Miriam. And I think it's a beautiful song about crossing the Red Sea. So we'll sing it together, page 11. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehda b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh, malachutecha ra'u banecha. I'm in the middle of the page. Bokeyam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze eli anu ve'amru, ze eli avu ve'ameru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. So when we sing this song on Passover, right? Does anybody remember what we do? Because there's a moment of sadness in order for us to obtain our freedom. What happened? The army of Pharaoh that was pursuing us after we crossed on dry land. What did happen to the Red Sea? Closed again, and the entire army of Pharaoh was destroyed. So on Passover we stop and we acknowledge that. And what do? We take our finger into the glass of wine and we dip it in 10 times, right? And take out 10 drops of wine to remind us, to take away some of the joy. To remind us that the people were hurt and their people died in the process of getting our freedom. I think that's a good reminder. So at the bottom, V'ne'amar ki fadah Adonai et Yaakov u'ga'alo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai ga'al Yisrael. Blessed are you, Lord, Redeemer of Israel. So let's read on page 12 together the beautiful Hashkidenu prayer. And see if you can find the word sukkah or sukkot in the English, and I'll show it to you where it is in the Hebrew. Help us, O God, to lie down in peace, but teach us that peace means more than quiet. Remind us that if we are to be at night, we must take heed how we live by day. Rid us of resentments and hatreds, which rob us of the peace we crave. Liberate us from enslaving habits, which disturb us and give us no rest. May we so live that we can face the whole world with serenity. As we lie down tonight,
spread
over
us the tabernacle of your peace. Blessed are you, Lord, who spreads the tabernacle of peace over us, over his people Israel, and over Jerusalem. So I'm going to read it in Hebrew, and when you hear the word sukkah or sukkat, right, just let me know. Ufros aleinu sukkat shlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai hapores sukkat shalom, a sukkah of peace. Sukkat shalom aleinu, upon us. Ve'al kol amo Yisrael, and all of Israel. Ve'al Yerushalayim, and all Jerusalem. And some people add a couple more words. Ve'al tevel, and all inhabitants of the earth. So upon the people of Israel, upon Jerusalem, and upon all the people of the earth. Be a Sukkat Shalom. So what can we do this week during Sukkot to help build a Sukkat Shalom, a Sukkah of peace? Beautiful. Okay, page 13, the Beis Shamru. It's a very upbeat kind of happy dancing. There are some synagogues where actually the kids get up and start dancing at this point. So page 13, Beis Shamru, the transliteration, it means that you are commanded to be happy on Shabbat. Beis Shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. בני ובן, בני ישראל, עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. So we'll continue on page 14 with the Amidah. Amidah literally means the standing prayer. So if you're able physically to stand, if not, just stand with your nefesh, with your soul. We'll face the east again. And we'll do page 14 and 15. And I'll start with Adonai Sefetai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. O Lord, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu V'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומר חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גואל לפני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. We'll continue on the next page. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, לחייב את מטריו להושיע. Okay, thank you. You may be seated. We'll continue with the beautiful Misha Berach prayer. I thought this would be a good time to have our little Simchat Torah. What does Simchat Torah mean again? What's Simcha? Simchat Torah means the joy of the Torah, happiness of the Torah. And Simchat Torah, we normally unroll the entire scroll. So we're just gonna walk around. Everybody can take a part of it. This is a smaller. This is not like a traditional. See how far we can go. Take them.
Whoa.
See if we can.
I guess I'm not as good as I'm rolling as you.
Let's see if we can get it. You guys, you want to come closer? Will it be hard for you to come closer? I can move the chair. You want to come? You want to? We didn't quite make it around. Okay, I still too little. Yeah. Okay. Do you guys want to come closer to the? So the Torah consists of how many books? 5. Okay, what are they? Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. So here we have Deuteronomy, and we have the very last word is Yisrael, and way over there, can anybody see the first word? Should be Breshit. So the Lamed, the Lamed in Hebrew, and the Bet creates the word Lev. And if I had thought this out properly, this end would be touching that end, and it would be a circle. So I didn't. But it's there's a belief that whenever we do the Mishaberach prayer, if you're actually touching a Torah scroll, it's extra energy from the divine. Which on page 16, is this uncomfortable for you to hold?
No.
Okay. We'll do the Mishaberach prayer. So is there anybody in your life who needs healing of the body, of the mind, of the soul? My guess is that all of us can use healing at all times. So take a moment and either just think the names to yourself of who those people in your lives, the people that you know that are in need of healing of the mind, of the body, of the soul. Or you can say them out loud into our group here. And we'll do the beautiful prayer for healing, the Mi Shaberach. Mi Shaberach means the one who has blessed our ancestors. May that divine one also bless us. Page 16. Mishaberach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Laimotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Thank you so much for holding the scroll. It's fun to find your bar mitzvah passage, to find the 10 Commandments, because they're very distinct how they look in the scroll. To find the Bichamocha, it's also very distinct. So sometimes we can spend an hour, right, just looking for different things.
And it's so interesting in the big scrolls.
The big
in
scrolls.
synagogue, yeah. And to
Can
imagine
those
somebody
be
writing
opened
that
all the
much.
way?
Yes, we open on Simchat Torah. We open them all the way up.
Oh, yeah.
And if the weather's good, we actually do encircle around the sukkah.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're large.
They're very heavy. I thought about bringing one, but they're like 50 pounds.
Oh.
And you know, you got to be so careful with, like, not that I don't have to be careful with this, but this is not a kosher scroll, so I
Can't touch it.
You think it's gonna be a joyous occasion on Simchas Torah this year in Israel?
No. Because it's the 1 year, of course, anniversary of.
Right.
There's been lots and lots and lots of seminars and workshops about, you know, how to deal with it. But the bottom line is, we will dance again, is what it usually ends up with. We will lift our Torah scrolls high, we will dance again, and we will be joyous, because we're commanded to. But I think what some people are going to do, because there's normally a Sheva, you know, you go around the 7 times with, and normally you dance the whole time. I think a lot of congregations are going to do is maybe the first couple Hakafot will be more somber, and they're going to read maybe from the Book of Lamentations or from Psalms, and then work our way up to a little happier. Yeah, it'll be subdued for sure. With that in mind, a perfect segue. Thank you so much to page 17 to Osei Shalom. Again, this very deep Jewish theological assumptions at work in this particular prayer. We're asking that God help us bring the peace from heaven down to the earth. We're not asking God to come down and fix everything. We're saying, God, help us to make the world a better place, to make the world of peace, a Sukkat Shalom, a sukkah of peace. Shalom bimromah. Say shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael Imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Well, that sounded really low, done. So on page 18 we have the Aleinu, which is our hope and which is our prayer that one day we all will be one. That prayer we started off with, the Shema, where we said that God is one and we all are one. We're coming back to it, and I believe the very last word is Echad, one. And Aleinu, what does Aleinu mean? Does anybody know? Aleinu, it's upon us. Aleinu, it's upon us to do our part to make the world a better place, so that one day we will all realize that we are one. Now, would that be amazing to live? We call that what? Gan Eden. The return of Gan Eden, the return of the Garden of Eden. If we really, really, really believe that we all were one, we would have food for everybody, there'd be no fighting. It's beautiful, right? It's the essence of Jewish theology. That's what we're supposed to do when we go out into the world, tikkun olam, to make the world a better place. So, the Aleinu on page 18, if you're able, we would stand, we face the east, we open up the ark, right? We see all the Torah scrolls in there, and we sing together the Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teit gdula yotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'koyei haratzot, ve'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adamah, shelo samcha penu kahem, ve'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, v'anachnu korim ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 19. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד. Please be seated. That last line, it says, V'ne'emar, and then we will say, V'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, that the Lord God is the Lord of all earth. And on that day, V'yom hahu, V'hiye Adonai, we will also say that we are one, that all is one. That's quite a beautiful prayer to end the synagogue experience. So we'll turn to page 20, the Mourner's Kaddish, where we take a moment to remember those who had such an amazing impact on our lives, and we presence them, and we commit ourselves that we will this week to do things to make their memory a blessing. Maybe it's to give the donation in their name to something that was important to them. Maybe it's just to say a kind word to somebody in their memory. Maybe it's just to allow us to feel connected to that person. And we also say the Mourner's Kaddish for people that there is no one to say the Mourner's Kaddish for them. So is there anyone you'd like to name?
My father, Isidore Fishman.
May his memory be a blessing.
Paul.
His memory be a blessing. You can also say the names just quietly to yourself. If you're able to rise for the Mourner's Kaddish, page 20. Yitgadal, Yitgadash, Shnei Rabba. Amen. Ve'alma tivrach yoter, lamrich malchutei, v'chayichot v'yom echad, v'chei dekol beit Yisrael, v'agala bizman kariv v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Barach le'al u'le'amayim. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitchoman v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal, Shemei v'kudashah v'richu, ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirchata. Tush b'chata v'nechmata, da min ran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. And may the one who brings peace from the heavens bring peace to our hearts, and help us to make the world a better place in the memories of those who came before us and who loved us. And we say together, Amen. So, I may have told you that my favorite song when I was growing up, because we would do most of these things at home. You know, traditionally, the Friday night service is done at home, right? And then only recently, whatever that means, 50 years or so, people start going to the synagogue for Friday night service. But I knew when we got to this song, what was next? Food! So as a child, it's always my favorite song. So I start to get hungry when I see this song. But Shalom Aleichem is actually a very, very beautiful song. It tells us that there are 4 angels that accompany us when we leave the Shabbat service. And these 4 angels are there to make sure that we have a beautiful Shabbat experience. But the real message is that we are these angels, right? We're the angels for other people. So the question is, as we sing Shalom Aleichem, is how can you be an angel of peace? How can you be an angel of reconciliation? These are the 4 angels. How can you be an angel of love and an angel of connection this week to those that you come in contact with? Page 22, Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeyetchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Beautiful. Now we have the blessing over the wine for Shabbat. I need a volunteer. Would you be our, thank you. Let's do it together on page 23. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. And we say, L'chaim, L'chaim. And of course, it's never Shabbat without, excuse me. Oh yeah, I would like to hold the challah for us. And it should be on the next page, the Motzi. So chant it with me on page 24. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. And we say to each other, Shabbat Shalom, Shana Tova, Chag Sukkot Sameach. We have 3 things to say to each other tonight. Thank you. So please take some bread. This is the literal meaning of breaking bread together. Ooh, this one smells good.
Yeah, it does.
Who made that?
I bought it.
Oh, somebody made it.
I know. I bought it.